one of the things that, I really want to talk about before we get out of here is, the vulnerability of losing a child, right? And having that thought process go through and being in tune, obviously, with your relationship, with the man above, it's like, do you ask why? Do you ask how? You know what I'm saying? What goes through your mind in that situation?
And I ask all that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ask why. For sure, that was the main question too, bro. I was asking God why. It was just a tough situation, man. I'm like, I ain't know how to navigate this. I'm a young boy. I'm feeling guilty, because at the same time, I'm blessed. I'm utilizing. I'm living my dreams, right? But my dreams also was putting me on the road. I'm traveling and doing all of that. So I had, for some time, I really held in my heart this real guilt of feeling like that if I would have been there more, if I would have supported my daughter more, that my daughter would have been still here. You see what I'm saying? So I think that was a part of it, was taking the blame of like, all right, man, like, damn, like maybe I was a part of the reason, like, like what if I would have loved her more or was by that bedside? So those are some of the things, but 100%, man, I think in order to get closer to God, I think at some point you got to question him, in order to understand him, so I went through that moment. It's probably one of the toughest things I had to do in my life, bro, was to pull that plug,
Yeah.
But I also realized that God makes no mistakes as well. You see what I'm saying? And I do believe that she is also still earthside with us spiritually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think it just try to keep her name, name alive and keep it moving. But definitely, for sure, you definitely question at those moments.
Yeah, I've heard, interviews where you and your wife has talked about, well, from her perspective, being a quote unquote bonus mom, right? And in a situation where you guys have tried and it's tough, right? Like we're not used to seeing people talk about real life issues. Mm-hmm. What has been, the outpour that you've gotten from opening up, from her perspective as well as your perspective as well too?
It's been incredible, man. It's honestly been incredible, you know what I'm saying, from people, because realizing that, like, it's not just music, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the only vessel, you know what I'm saying? So having these conversations, I think for people, man, it's become healing for people of like, bro, I never knew that. Like, man, I went through something similar, bro. I lost my grandmother as well, or I lost my daughter as well, bro. Or, man, I'm also, too, as a man, trying to find and navigate myself. You see what I'm saying? Bro, I'm also dealt with vulnerability and guilt and this and that, I'm also, too, trying to navigate these things. So for me, it's been, it's putting me in positions to where I can reach new people. You see what I'm saying? Is where I can really have really in-depth, great conversations, because I care about the well-being of people, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want my dogs to be all right, bro. I want you to be mentally okay. I want you to be spiritually okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, internally, bro. Like, as a man, you feel me? So those things matter to me, and I feel like when you relate on that level, bro, that's a human level, and it's not just like a prideful or an ego level, but it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
When people see you now, right, lean, mean, machine, you see what I'm saying? Like, what led you to taking fitness real serious and seeing the outcome that you've seen, with consistency, bro? Like, if y'all don't follow Ace Hood, bro, it's one of those people, and they gonna say, nigga, you don't even follow. I'm a ghost follower. I'm a premium ghost follower. Like, man, folks really question how I keep up with certain things. It's like, bro, me and Dora the Explorer, we locked in. And I see your content from meditating to, it looked like even yoga, just a lot of different things. What led you to, that awakening, and how do you keep it going?
Oh, man. It led me to that awakening when I went independent. The moment I went independent and left a major label, bro, that was the moment that I realized that I'm like, people know you as this version of yourself, but who are you now? Like, who are you now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Being that you're no longer with that team, you're no longer with that label, that brand, that situation, like, who are you moving forward? So for me, it was about taking my power back. You see what I'm saying? So what that looked like to me was to empower myself. I went back to school, bruh. I started, deepening my meditation. I started to understand myself. Because even for us, bruh, we work on fitness, bro. We work on other things, but half the time, it's not often where people tell us it's like, yo, you got to really work on yourself. Like, we don't understand what that means. Like, you go in the hood and be like, boy, you got to work on yourself. What you mean, boy? I've been in the gym, boy.
Yeah,
What
sure.
you mean, boy? I don't, you know what I'm saying? What you mean? I'm getting money, boy.
Yeah.
Don't let this a money gut. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just think like, you know, recognizing in that, at that time, bro, I was like, nah. Like, now you got to get, like, who are you now? Because I recognized, bro, I was so lost after I got off a major label, dog, because now I had 20, 30 people working for me, to now it's like, now it's me and just my homies.
Yeah.
So now the pressure is on me, bro, to where I got to make the phone calls, where I got to have the uncomfortable conversations. I got to hire the people and do all of that. So it just took me on a journey, bro, of just like, all right, you got to strengthen yourself, bro. Like, you don't know the business. You know what I'm saying? You got to find out who you are. Like, you so far removed from Antoine, but you know who Ace Hood is.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, who are you? What type of man are you, dog? Like, what type of father are you going to be? And, like, what are we going to talk about moving forward?
Yeah.
So that took me on a journey of, like, self-preservation, but self-realization, too.
Oh, that's deep. And man, my pop used to tell me this. It's like, son, you look the part, but you're not the part.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you really digest that, it's like, yo, got abs, you got success, got followers, you got likes, the impressions are there, but it's like, who are you becoming?
Right.
And you can fall victim to that. You know, last thing that I want to kind of bring up here is there's this ongoing thought of, you got to choose a side, especially in this industry of music. And we're seeing a situation with Gunna and Thug, right? And you've been in this situation long, you know, where you could be cool with individuals that's beefing. So how do you balance relationships and friendships in the industry where sometimes you're pressured to have to choose a side?
Man, if I'm gonna respond to something like that, dog, for me, I'm always gonna go with like the love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For me, I rarely choose sides, bro. For me, you know what I'm saying? I'm the type of nigga really like I fuck with both of y'all. I have different type of relationships with different people. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really the type of person that's like, all right, bro, I don't like, bro, unless you just, you know what I'm saying?
Take it there.
You take it there for real. So, for me, for the most part, dog, like, yeah, I'm gonna just go with the love aspect of it for real. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, so what I mean by that is like, all right, if you got two different homies, like which homie is speaking like life, which homie's really trying to move through it. You know what I'm saying? Which homie really like, bro, I really apologize, or bro, I sit down and had a conversation. Which one is trying to be more forward than the other? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got, and then you might have the other person that's not willing to sit down and have a conversation, that's not open, that's like restricted, they got a hardened heart and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I can only deal with that for so long because it's like, bro, willing to move forward, bro, willing to put this to the past so we can grow and elevate, but you trying to stay stagnant on that. I ain't good with that type of stuff. Like, all right, you want to stay? We trying to continue to grow and rise, and this is where we're going at. So, you know, it's always a transparent conversation, you know what I'm saying, for sure, of just like, this is why I rock with bro, this is why I rock with you. But you know what I'm saying? This ain't right, that ain't right, my nigga. Y'all gotta sit down and have a conversation about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always trying to mend something for real.
I got you, bro.
You feel me? Like,
Bro, man, I see this happening too many times in our culture where a lot of people are in the middle, and one thing leads to another thing that never was supposed to be intended for that thing that it turned into. And we all trying to make money to provide for our family, bro, as any man. Black, white, green, blue, it don't necessarily matter. And I just hope that, you know, in any type of situation, all parties are safe and you're able to provide, bro.
I want to ask you something, bro. You see me? So basically, because for me, dog, it was really important, like, for me not having my father in my life. You see what I'm saying? And him not being there. Like, I want to know, like, what's your experience, like, growing up, two-parent household with your mother and your father? Like, how has that made you, like, you know, contributed to the man that you are today?
Oh, my God. I say it like this. I have guilt because of the man that I seen growing up. That's part of me. I grew up in a 3-parent household, and I always say it this way because I want to give respect to every individual that shaped and molded me to who I am today. My grandmother, my mother, and my father, right? I seen my parents thug it out. I've seen my mom sacrifice her livelihood for the betterment of a vision from her other half and her husband. I also seen my father be a real man where he sacrificed so much where nobody taught him anything. You know, he learned it with the desire, the burning desire to provide and to provide provision for the family. I've never seen my father drink. I've never seen my father curse. I've never seen my father, you know, welcome or have a welcoming energy towards other women. I've seen that. I've seen my father also be a father figure to other men. That's why he's still my hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of dudes had this, man, my dad wasn't, man, my dad was there, still to this day is there. And I think our relationship has shifted from more of a father-son relationship, which that will always be, but it's more of a brotherhood and a friendship with really understanding, like, yo, handle me with grace, because I know I fall short of what your expectations is, Pop. I know I'm not that, but there's things that you got to understand about your son. He's going through a different gauntlet than you had to go through. I think growing up with my father, he was the person that I looked to for validation in so many different things, where it's like, did my dad clap? Did my dad see?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Pop, what you think? Still to this day, it's like, yo, I just recently, you know, acquired certain things, and I always have a committee, a council committee, and my dad is the forefront of that. And I think oftentimes, you know, you said something where kind of having a certain resentment to another person. You didn't say it this way, but there's a lot of people that have a certain resentment to the father figure when it's not their actual father that they were birthed from. And I've done that too. And I still look at my situation where it's like, yo, bro, I can't really pour out my emotions in a way that becomes too vulnerable, but I also got to stay stoic and show emotion. I think that's one thing that the women in my life have been able to help shape, nurture, as well as my father did too. Now, you're talking about a man who was hard body. Like, hard body meaning like, bro, we ain't doing that. Get up. Come on, get up. Nah. Are you hurt or are you injured? One of the two.
Yeah.
You know, if you hurt, stay down. If you injured, you playing. It's we not complaining, we not moaning, we not growing. Like, hey, bro, that's not being a man. One of the most iconic voices or quotes in my life that my father spoken to me was nothing that was said from Aristotle or anything like that. My father looked at me when I was in JUCO, said these words that forever impacted my life, and I can't wait to use that with my son. He looked me eyeball to eyeball and said, son, be a man, and walked away. So me having a figure in my life that I seen every single day show up, and he would have a dually truck, and I would hear him, you know, coming from afar. And we had so much respect for our father, still to this day that we do that. I try to become a better version because of his approval. I've seen him sacrifice so much and not complain, not wince, not even utter certain things. Was it pretty? Nah, but he figured it out. So for me, to answer your question, it's like you're talking to a man who I have resentment because of the man that I saw. That's my hero. That's the person who showed me we ain't compromising on what we know needs to get done. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate him for that. And I also appreciate you for asking that question, bro.
No, thank you for that, bro. Yeah, because I didn't have that experience, but I've yearned for that for so long. You understand that? Like, what would that dynamic have felt like if I was affirmed by a man or supported in that way to where I look back and I'm like, my pop's in the stands, man.
Yeah.
Like, my pop's coming to get me from school. Like, I used to look out the window and see, like, my pop pulling up. Is he really coming today? You know what I'm saying? So, like, those were my experiences growing up, and then being emotional because he didn't pop up. You know what I'm saying? And thinking about, damn, how I'm going to navigate these spaces. So thank you for sharing that, bro.
Man, it's to some, I think mine has been a level of almost embarrassment a little bit, right? Because you got to just stay with me real quick. And since we're being vulnerable, man, I'm a preacher's son, right? I just welcomed my 9th child. My father would say, how am I preaching to the masses of what's right and what's wrong in my own household is not abiding by what I know to be truth or what I know not to be right? Mm-hmm. That pressure rips you, but you have to also put things into perspective. I think his intention is not to suppress me. It's just to hold me accountable. And I got people and individuals in my life that do that, right? I just recently had a conversation with a young man about, I know right from wrong. I just don't always do right. Mm-hmm. And my relationship with the man above is very unique. And I know where I get my strength. I know where I get my guidance and understanding. And there's a lot of things that has happened in my life that I know what my purpose is. And I never wanted to be this model citizen. And I think that's oftentimes where people go wrong. It's like, yo, like, I'm perfect. No. I'm imperfect in search of perfection in this world. Use me and my things that I've done as ways to impact and say, no, Cam did that. No, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna do it a different way. Hey, there's things that Cam did that I do wanna do, right? And I have relationships with my children. And when that day does come, as far as the tough questions, and no matter what we identify those tough questions to be, it's not always peaches and cream with having a good man in your life, because I have a level of resentment a little bit because I know what his expectations is. My father had 3 sons. Didn't have a son out of wedlock. I didn't have a half brother nowhere. But yet I had that situation. And it cripples me at times because now you're living in this world of entertainment and people are always quick to judge. And they say, well, you know, you doing this, you creating broken homes, and why you just won't marry this person? But it's not as always that simple that way.
Right.
And I think if I use my platform in a way to say, hey, I'm waving a white flag. I've had unbelievable women in my life that I knew I took advantage of. And my immaturity or my lust for temptation got the best of me in that moment. That's not to say that I had an oops child or I didn't have a child that I didn't necessarily want, because I think God has blessed me with having children. But what I do with my platform is I want to show people that you can make all your wrongs right. It takes time. It takes self-evaluation, and it takes a burning desire to keep trying to become the best version of yourself. That's not to say you ain't gonna scratch your knee. That ain't gonna say you ain't gonna stub your toe. That ain't to say you ain't gonna make mistakes. And I never wanted to be that individual that was like, man, look at me, I'm better than you. No. It's like, I can talk to you about this because I've been through that. Mm-hmm. I'm going through that. And I have mishaps and I have weak moments. And how do you navigate through this? And that's all I want people to look at, is just say like, yo, bro, like, I know Cam went through this. Like, what did you do? And there's other things where you may not have the platform that I may have. So when I'm out and I'm talking to people, whether in the airport, gas station, you know, just in everyday life, grocery store, and they say like, bro, like, I fool with you, bro, because you real and you authentic. And there's so many people that have platforms probably bigger than mine or smaller than mine, but they don't use their platform to be a vessel to show, like, bro, I don't got it all figured out, dog. I swear I don't. I got bad days too. There's times where me and my baby mamas have the bestest relationships, and there's times where it's just like, bro, like, why you trying me now? There's times with my children, you know, we ain't always aligned. but I still, make it a point to try. It's not that I got it all figured out, I just didn't quit. And I'm still trying to figure out this thing that we call life, man, and still searching for that man's approval.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's beautiful, bro.
Appreciate it.
Another question, bro.
Talk to me.
What was your transition like, bro? What was that transition like from sports, right? Football player, killing it, right? Feeling like you're at a place to where you still have much more left in the tank, but like that dream has like come to a close. Like, what's that space in between for you look like during the transitional point of like figuring out what it is that you're gonna do to move forward with like your next move of your career? Like, what was that space like for you? Because obviously I had to navigate the space of like figuring out, all right, being a musician, right, in one way and doing that, but like now wanting to bridge off and do other things and step off into other arenas. But it's a little bit of like, sometimes there's like fear earlier on about like just stepping into new arenas, man, and doing different things outside of what you know that you were tremendously great at. You see what I'm saying? Like, so
I got you. I think first and foremost, you have to give yourself grace with knowing that you don't know everything. I think when people see me in this space, I have an unbelievable team that's unbelievable at what they do. I cannot stress that enough. And there's even times where I feel like me and my team have a disconnect, but I constantly see certain things come out. It's like, yeah, we're getting it. But it's hard for you to train people to receive you in a way that they're not normally used to you being.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, how did you see yourself in like this space?
No.
And like doing, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Cause Cam, I know I'm like, my boy come out,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That I came up on like, so to see you here, man, it's like incredible. You know what I'm saying? To see that transition.
But I've always had this, and I thank God for giving me this opportunity and this platform to showcase the different facets of me. And here recently, and I'm not sure if anybody ever seen it, but there is a documentary of the Dallas Cowboys, right? And there was a segment where Michael Irvin is talking. And his career was stripped short because of an injury to his neck. But the thing that made him great, and I connected with this so much, because the person that you have to become is not the best pedestrian. You see what I'm saying? The person that you have to become, especially in your sport, is not the best pedestrian. And when you've created this person to be a well-oiled machine, how do you now institutionalize that person in the normal world? And that process can become dangerous. It's am I a football player, or am I a father, or am I a coach, or am I a content creator, or am I, a friend? It's like so much that we're built. Man, I played the game of football, bro, since I was the age of 7 years old. And I wasn't always the premier player, right? But there was something about football that as I learned more and more about it, I started to say, hey, the thing that separates certain players, it's not skill, it's the mentality. And that mentality is not always best to be a pedestrian. See, the thing about it is the things that we can get away with on the football field, you can't get away with it in everyday life.
Right.
The tone, the ferocity, the rage that you have to tap into is not necessarily the healthy human being.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And how I judge success now is, am I in control of my emotions? Because I'm not gonna lie, bro, I played a game of Madden, right? And there's times where it's just like, oh my.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even more of a vulnerable moment, right? 2 weeks ago, long day, right? As a strong man, you have to practice being stoic, but that could be weaponized too. a lot happens. Cam, what are we gonna do? Cam, how are we gonna do this? Hey, you gotta go do this. You got an appearance here. You just signed for that, you can't do. And you tugged and pulled and pulled and everybody says this phrase, but not understanding the totality of that phrase. I'm a boss. Nobody can tell me what to do. But what I've interpreted that to be is I'm the biggest servant. That don't mean that my cup don't get empty. In this particular situation, I have a full day. And the first thing I look forward to when I enter my house is the words, Daddy.
Yeah,
Well, this particular situation, one of my children was acting out, right? Nobody checks in on Cam to say, hey, bro, you good? And even when they do, it's like, yeah, I'm good, I'm straight. But that rage of the day, where you try to go to your place of refuge to get recharged, it's still happening. It's like, man, life just whooping on me, bro. Life happening, dog. And then the first thing you do, what you're looking forward to being recharged with, Daddy, it was, hey, your son is acting up during his tutoring session and he's disrespecting this tutor. You're the disciplinarian, handle that. And a lot of parents are able to be emotionally intelligent in that moment. I looked at my son. My son looked at me in a state of fear. I'm already whooped from the day. What do? Take my rage out on my son? That's not healthy, Cam. And when you look back at certain parentings over the years and you realize really what your parents was going through, the way that they was able to discipline you in ways that you may think was unhealthy or healthy, depending on how you turned out, and even certain things that you did that was not, of their best interest, of your best interest. It was a time where I was like, hold on, Cam. I'm taking you through a situation, bro, like this is real.
That's some real shit.
I'm walking upstairs. My son know he about to get his behind whooped. And I'm saying step by step, it's like, Ken, hold on, son. Hold on. You about to take your pain and your frustration out on your son. You can't do that. You can't do that. Check yourself.